Welcome to the Go With Your Flow podcast. My name is Erin Ryan. I am the six-figure Reiki Rebel and mentor. I'm a licensed acupuncturist, certified Reiki master teacher. I have a master's degree in Oriental medicine and a bachelor's in nutrition. And I'm so excited to bring my beautiful client and student, Carrie Briggs, onto our show today so we can talk all things Element Dragon Fire Reiki. Carrie has been with me since my very first class, which I did in 2022 with the Fire Dragon. So we're just going to chat a little bit about that. But first, I want to let Carrie have a moment to just tell you all who she is. So Carrie, tell me who you are, darling.
Well, first of all, thank you for allowing me to be here. I am so excited. This is just, it's amazing. So my name is Carrie Briggs. I am a certified Reiki master teacher as well. Thank you to Erin. And I am a spiritual mentor for self-led spiritual entrepreneurs who are ready to get their shit together. I have been on this journey for a couple of years, and I've been seriously into the spiritual business side of things for like 2 years. So I'm relatively new to the online community coaching wise, but it's exactly where I'm supposed to be. And I'm very excited to be here.
Yay. Oh, so good. Yeah. So I am so curious, and I already know the answer to some of these questions, but I'm really, really excited to bring other people into this conversation, right? Which is why I had to have you on here, is to talk a little bit about your experience. So you went through the levels of Holy Fire Reiki with me, right? I've been teaching Holy Fire. I taught it for 7 years. Then the dragons dropped in for me in 2022 in the summer. And they're like, hey, guess what? You're going to be bringing dragon fire into the meridian system. And because I'm a licensed acupuncturist and I have a master's degree in traditional Oriental medicine, I was able to combine working with dragons with Reiki with the meridian system. So very, very specific, deeper into the body. And so I know there are some unexpected things that came up along the way, but tell us all, what has that experience been like for you, especially compared to Holy Fire and this new energy coming through with Dragon Fire?
So thank you. So for those of you who do not know, Erin reintegrated Reiki back into my life with Holy Fire. And that was so powerful in itself. And then as things shifted and grew, Dragon Fire was introduced, and it was this whole other, describing it is so hard unless you really lived it and experienced it, but it's so powerful and it's so potent the way that it goes in, and it breaks up these energies. And as a practitioner standpoint, connecting to my clients has been extremely powerful. The things that we've been able to clear out during those sessions have been insane. And then as a client standpoint, working with as they're receiving Reiki, they have come to me with the most amazing stories about how something that took forever to break up, like fear. We just worked on, I know we're jumping a little bit, we just did the water dragon and the water meridians, and using that with my clients with fear and indecisiveness and all of these amazing things has been, I have worked with clients for years, and then just using this new modality has cleared out stuff that we've been trying to clear out for years. So it's so powerful. It's so potent. I'm never using anything ever again. Because the dragons are my BFFs, and we are tight, but it's so hard to describe the power of it until you've really experienced it. Does that answer a little bit?
Absolutely. And yeah, just to explain a little bit of background with Element Dragon Fire Reiki, it's called Element Dragon Fire Reiki because I learned 5-element theory while in school for acupuncture. So there's 5 separate elements in Chinese medicine, and we work with those elements in the body. We work with the elemental dragons. So Carrie mentioned the water dragon, which is, I teach that class during winter because winter is the water element, which is also happens to be the most yin, so feminine element, and it corresponds to the water meridians. So I teach the water meridians during the classes, or this class. Each class has a different set of meridians that I teach, and those happen to be the kidney and urinary bladder meridian for the water dragon, which correspond to, as Carrie mentioned, fear. So being able to clear a tremendous amount of fear by working with intention, working with dragon fire, which is a very high vibrational frequency energy. One of the things the dragons told me when this dropped in for me was that I had been working with holy fire energy to initiate me into working with dragon fire. So I look at it not as better than holy fire. It's not that it's better, but I do feel that it's an evolution, a natural evolution of a frequency. So those water meridians, the students are taught them. Carrie now knows where those are located in the body, how to clear them, and how to help people address fear. And one of the reasons that I work with dragon fire is because it's so powerful and potent at clearing and breaking apart dense energies, stagnations in the body, which is why in acupuncture, we use the meridian system. And the meridians are energy highways. So you think of them as super highways that run throughout the body. So I think that's what Carrie is speaking to, right? She's like, right, there's people that you've been working with trying to break up certain things. And yet with this, you were able to break that apart. Like, why do you think that is? Like, especially because you were practicing holy fire. And I agree, holy fire changed my life. I have so much love and respect for that modality. It's so beautiful. And yet I was still called to bring this energy deeper into the system. So what do you think from your perspective? What is that? What is the transition? Like, how is it different than holy fire specifically?
So it's actually, I don't want to say interesting, but not interesting, because it's all divine timing and all in order the way it's supposed to be. But as I was, when dragons were introduced to me, I was still learning holy fire. And I know I was coming to you. I'm like, hey, dragons keep coming to me during Reiki. And this is the same time you were coming up with the 5 Element Dragon Fire Reiki. So for me, it wasn't that much of a hard transition, because I was so used to working with the fire and holy fire, and the dragon fire was just it's shown like a deeper level, just a much more potent level. So for me, as a energy worker standpoint, it wasn't a difficult transition. It was just it was the natural progression to what we were learning. And like, I know that when I go in to work with a client, I'm like, get in, we do the shit and we get out. Like, that's how I am. And for this, it was, it's exactly what it does. It goes in and it as you say all the time, dragons, they don't tolerate bullshit. They don't tolerate, and they're like, no BS, we're going to get shit done. And that's exactly what it does. And it's, for me, the sessions are so much faster and smoother. And I feel like I get so much more done. My clients walk away feeling the exact same way. It's just, that's the power of it. And so it's amazing. So yeah,
it's awesome. Yeah, that's what I've noticed too, is the efficiency piece of it, because it is more focused. So with any type of Reiki, typically, and there's a lot of different types of Reiki, right? There's just a ton, but typically you are handing over the session to this divine sort of ambiguous power. When you work with Dragon Fire Reiki, what you're actually doing is connecting to dragons. And as Carrie mentioned, she was already drawn to dragons. So was I, right? And working with them. And so you are bringing this very intentional connection to these energies, to the dragons. And what I love about Dragon Fire specifically is that it will break things apart. It's very clearing, very transmuting, but also deeply nourishing. So one of the things that I teach, right, in these classes is how to clear the meridian system and also how to nourish. So it is, and then when you combine that with this intention, which is, I'm going to clear fear, right? If you're working with the water element, I am working with fear right now. If you say you were working with the earth element, you'd be working with worry and overthinking. If you're working with the wood element, then you're working with anger and resentment, which the wood element is going to be taught in the spring, because that is the time that the wood element is strongest, just like the winter for the water, late summer for earth, right? So I align these elements with the time of the year, right? And so I think that's what Carrie is speaking to, is just like, you get in, you get out, and cool things happen in less time. And you can really truly feel it. So I had Carrie do a session for me, and this is a distance session. So Reiki works at a distance. And I remember when she was done, I was like, damn, like, how long were you working? I don't know, 20 minutes?
It was like 20, 30 minutes. I think it was about 20 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was done, and I was like, oh my God. I'm impressed, right? Because this medicine's coming through me, right? I didn't create this. It's coming through me, right? I have the unique, right? I have a very unique skill set, right? In order to bring these elements together for you, right? I studied, I got my master's degree, so everyone else didn't have to, right? So that I developed my relationships with the meridian system by becoming an acupuncturist, and I still practice as an acupuncturist. So, but just like, I was like, oh my God, I feel so good. And she worked a lot in my back, which that's where the urinary bladder meridian, the majority of it is on the back. And it corresponds, like I mentioned earlier, to fear. And so I had all this energy that I didn't even realize was happening. Like, it was bogged down in my body. And so she went in, and she's just like, she just blew it right out of there. And the way that I felt after it, I felt high without being high, right? I felt a very natural high, and a lightness and an openness. And with holy fire, it's not that I wouldn't feel those things, because again, I have a deep love and respect for holy fire. There's a reason that I chose, out of all the different types of Reiki, to train people and use that one, right? So this is just a deep respect for that. But it was different. It was different.
So different. Yeah.
And it's because of that intention, right? You, like, Carrie, you're saying like, oh, okay, you now have the language to go, oh, okay, Erin has a bunch of stuff happening in her back. Okay, that's the urinary bladder meridian. I just learned about this. That corresponds to fear. So you're bringing the intention of the practitioner, right? And you work with dragons too. So you trusting that process, and it creates more when you include the practitioner a little bit more.
Yes. And like, the other thing I was going to say too, just popped in. It's like, I love holy fire. I love it so deeply, but I feel like we get stuck as Reiki practitioners, we get stuck in the chakra system or the chakra body. But I feel like with using the meridians, it's broadened this whole thing to, now I know how to help the entire body. Like, oh, this part of their body is hurting, that corresponds with this meridian. I'm able to clear it out. And I've had the results. I had a client the other day. She goes, I haven't felt this good in years. Like, I have not felt like myself in years. And this was a 30-minute session. And I'm like, that's the power of this. Like, you can go in and be like, hey, you got a whole bunch of stuff on what over here. I work on it. It's also clearing out all this other stuff. So it's just like, it's so like rounded, like you're doing so much in a short amount of time. And I've never experienced that with any other type of Reiki, because I'm certified in 3 different types. Like, this has by far been the most inclusive, the most helpful of all the ones that I've used. And that's why I'm so drawn to it.
That's so beautiful. It makes me so happy, right? Because that's the whole point, right? The whole point is to bring the next evolution of healing in. And Reiki was meant to be evolved. You know, it was meant for us to take it and make it our own. And I know too, so I co-taught with Carrie a Reiki level 1 class. So it's Dragon Fire Reiki level 1. And one of the things that I was intuitively guided to include in that class was meeting your dragon. And I just remember the impact that had on the students, like almost moving them to tears, right? Just the feeling of safety and love and support. And Carrie, I'd love to hear your take on that as well.
Yeah. So a lot of my students, we taught it together, and I've had one student come back, and they've all had amazing reactions and like they loved it so much. But I have one student, she goes, I go back and I listen to that dragon initiation constantly because I've never felt so safe and supported as I did meeting my dragon. And that is just like, like it made me want to cry. And I'm like, I love you so much. And this is why I'm doing it, because I had the same reaction, like really learning to work with my dragons. It's like, you know, I've explained this to you many times, like I feel safe and supported no matter what in every instance. So the fact that that you teach that in that level 1 is, I think, one of the reasons it makes it so powerful, because they have this connection to a being energy that they've never come across before. And it's so grounding and so deeply loving and nourishing. And that's what we all need. So it's like, I love that you brought that up, because it came through for one of my clients and she's like, hey, I listen to this all the time. My dragon is there. I connect to her multiple times a day. And I'm like, I love this so much, because she never worked with dragons before. She had never done that. And because of Dragon Fire Reiki, she now has that connection. So it's beautiful.
It's so beautiful. And it's because it's not this ambiguous sort of divine thing, which having ambiguity in the divine is beautiful in and of itself. Like, I think that that's really lovely, but I think that there comes a point where connecting to something a little bit more, I don't think easily is the right word, but just like substance, like there's substance.
Yes.
When you think of dragon energy, like it's evocative of something. And then when you meet your dragon, right? This dragon has been with you forever. It's been with you your entire life, probably past lives too. And yet now we've created this beautiful space, right? I just love hearing about that she goes back and listens to it, right? Because we record those so people can do that. And just to feel that safety and love. And that's the thing about working with dragons. If you work with dragons, a couple things are going to happen. And I'm sure Carrie can agree. Like, shit's gonna blow up. Okay, some things are gonna be shown, right? Because she's making like that everywhere.
Yes, they get shit done.
Yes, because they mean business. Okay, dragons mean business. When you work with a dragon, you were calling in big change. You were calling in your highest timeline. You are think of that. Like, dragon fire is not something like you don't want playing with that. Like, there's a reason they're like, okay, you're going to spend almost 3/4 of a decade learning how to work with holy fire so you can be truly initiated into working with dragon fire. So there's a lot of change that's going to happen, but also deep, deep, deep love, deep support.
And again,
so much from this thing. Yeah.
I feel like this is transitioning, but coming from my life where I didn't have that support, it was so powerful to me to finally feel that energy of, oh my God, this is what being truly loved and supported feels like. So it's like, it's transmuting into my physical world because I never experienced that growing up. So it's so beautiful.
And isn't that the point? Isn't that the point to take these, like, again, these ambiguous spiritual concepts, right? We all love them. I love them. I know you love them, but like, unless they are embodied and brought into your everyday life, like they're not going to have a lasting impact. And so working with dragons and working with the meridian system, it brings us more into the body. And I love too what you mentioned before about the chakra system. Chakra system's incredible, of course, and that's included too. But really, when you go into the meridian system, there's a reason acupuncturists are putting, needles to heal people in the meridian system. Acupuncture points are along the meridians. Why? Why aren't they? Yes, some of them cross over into the chakra system too, but why are they doing that? Right? Because it is more linked to our physical 3D experience. And that is what we need. We need more of our spiritual selves to come down into the body to be embodied. Right? So I just love that you said that. That makes me so happy. I also wanted to talk about this because this blew my mind. I did not anticipate this. I did not expect this, but I'd love for you to, if you're open, I know you are, speak about the business downloads you had during this class. It keeps happening because a lot of women who are aligned, not just women, but people who are aligned to dragon energy, there also happen to be leaders. A lot of leaders are business owners. And so what keeps happening is people are having these incredible downloads about their business. We're not even talking about it. And I'm bringing them to the experiences and they're getting like all this insight. So Carrie, you were one of the first ones that was like, this just happened. So I'd love for you to share what that is.
I would love to share. So I had a really hard couple of months in my business. I spent last year completely tearing it down and rebuilding it to create this new foundation so that I can create the business of my dreams, thanks to Erin's lovely work. And I was so stuck for months and I'm like, there's nothing coming through. I'm not getting any downloads. I'm not getting any clarity. Like, I'm just like, I was hitting a wall constantly, like nothing is happening. And then was it the water mermaid? I think it was the water dragon. Was it the last one?
No, I think you got it before them, but I don't remember which one.
I can't remember. I've had a download every single time that we've done an upgrade or a new level or something happens. But this past one, I was really stuck and having a really hard time. And I'm just like, I gave myself the space to sit. And during these experiences, Erin guides us when we're getting the installation
Humans,
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
the placement thingy. And normally you're supposed to sit in a meditation. And when I was doing this, I started the meditation and then I was constantly told, like, grab your pen and paper, grab your pen and paper. I'm like, this is not what I'm supposed to be doing. But I did it anyway. And something I've been looking for years in my business. I got full on explicit detail on what to do with my business, what the next steps I was taking. And this is something that's been happening over and over. The more that I do this, the dragon work, my business keeps on getting hits during these classes because my business is run around energy work and Reiki. So it was just like, I'm like, well, I didn't do what I was supposed to do, but I got this giant download for my business, an answer I've been looking for years. So that's fine. That's cool. And I'm not the only one that's happened to either. There's been a lot of women. You said somebody else got to figure out how to cut her hair or something, or cut hair, but it's just, which I'm sure you can go into. Yeah, she was a hairstylist. And it's like, and I don't know if it was just taking the space to just be in the moment, but I really do think the dragons, because they're so intertwined with my business and Reiki is so intertwined, that being in that space, being a spiritual entrepreneur, running a spiritual practice and business, it was all interconnected and I needed to be there in order to receive these downloads. And it's just been incredible.
Yeah, that's so cool. Thank you. Yeah, it was the water dragon. So you got it with, I think you were getting it before that, but there was a big breakthrough with the water dragon because we were clearing fear. And so I do a meridian activation, a dragon fire meridian activation. Like there's a few different things that I do throughout the class that I guide people through. And so we cleared out fear first, and then I brought everyone to the experience, and the experience has changed a little bit where there's just this openness. When I first started teaching it in the summer, I brought you through the entirety of it, but now it's like, nope, you're going into the experience, then there's space for you to just let whatever happen. And so for Carrie, that was like, they're like, grab a pen and paper, like this is what you're doing now. And I had a hairstylist, she had dragons come in and they showed her the exact step-by-step process to cut this hair that was like, she's like, it's been driving me crazy. They showed her how to do that. I had another woman who I'm also going to have her on this podcast to talk about. She had this beautiful experience. She's an Akashic record reader with the gold dragons. They gave her like step-by-step, very concise process of how to help her clients and bring them through. So it's been amazing. It's so pragmatic to work with dragons. I mean, I will send dragons out to bring me new clients, and then all of a sudden I'll have people popping in my DMs telling me, Erin, I had a dream about this dragon in you last night, or this dragon popped in, or like, why is this happening to me? And I'm like, I can't tell you why.
That's what happened to me the day I was in my shower doing my normal meditation. I'm like, hey, dragons, I need some new clients. Like, let's do this. So I put out a random post. Hey, I have a Reiki spot open today. Some woman I've never met at anywhere. Apparently she's been following me for years. She's like, hey, I'd like to take your Reiki spot. And now she wants to learn Reiki. So like dragons go and they will find you people. I call them, especially when I attach the Reiki to it. I'm like, okay, Reiki and dragons, like, let's go bring me the people. But they do, because they all need to be woken up, and dragons will wake people up. Yeah, so powerful.
I know, it's so good. And so that just fills me with so much joy. I love it so much. Thank you so much for sharing that, all of your experiences with me and coming on here and talking to me about this. Oh, it's so sexy.
I love it.
It's so good. So fun. It's so good. And I just like, it's such an honor for me to bring this through and then have, incredible students like you who just get it. Like, it's such a contribution. And I'm so excited to see where it goes too, like, oh, it's so good.
I tell anybody about it. Erin's like, do you want to be on this podcast, talk about it? I'm like, yes, because I'm telling everybody, and everybody needs to know what this is. And it's so powerful. I mean, again, I've been teaching Holy Fire for years, and now that I'm teaching Dragon Fire, everybody's like, no, I don't want to learn Holy Fire. Like, what's the dragon one you're teaching? That's the one I want. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I
to do
think
that.
when you become ready for working with dragons
Mhm.
and just what they symbolize, like I tell people all the time, right? My students, I tell you guys this, like dragons, there's a reason dragons are these giant, strong beasts, right? With these
Mhm.
giant wings to fly and these talons and these, fire breath and like sharp teeth. Like they are here to, like, they will travel into any space with us, right? The darkest parts, the most shadowy parts of our own world and consciousness, and they'll just light it up.
Mhm.
Like I have
They
chills.
do.
They just Yep. And I just, it's just so good.
It's like Kali Ma, but so much gentler and more nourishing.
Yeah, be careful when you call on Kalima. Oh
Yeah,
my
well, I
gosh.
learned my lesson. It's fine. Maybe.
Yeah, Kalima is amazing. And there is a time to call on Kalima, and I will. Like, I have deep, deep respect
Mhm.
for Kalima,
Well,
but
me too.
man,
Mhm.
oh, oh,
Be prepared. I'm just gonna
be
use it.
very
I'm just gonna use the
yeah,
dragon. Be prepared.
exactly. Well, awesome. Thank you so much again for being here with me, Carrie. I just
So
love that. And I love how your business is growing and evolving. I definitely, and I'd love for you to speak to this, just like working with Dragon Energy. Like, I know that they've helped you to clear your own fear, to clear all these things going on with you, but then also to help you break up the old foundation in your business so that you can create something that is totally sustainable, sexy as fuck, right? Something that you can count on, that's yours. Like you said, like the business of your dream. And that's so much of what I do is I'm here for healers in business. I'm here to help them in every way, the emotional parts and then the more pragmatic parts to rebuild. So tell us a little bit about like your business and how you be and how that's evolved and where you're at now.
it has been interesting. So since working with Erin, when I took Holy Fire a couple of years ago, it was more for myself to really work on myself, and boy did it clear some stuff. But it's opened up this door to the dragons and working with that. And like I said, I tore my business down last year. I had to let go of all of this people pleasing, because a lot of us are recovering people pleasing addicts, and I was really good at that, and I was trying to conform my business to what I felt other people needed, and by doing that I wasn't being of service to the people who actually truly needed my medicine. So working with the dragons, clearing out my own fear, finding my voice and clear like everything. I'm like, it's stuck right here because apparently I'm clearing stuff right now. It's fine. Uh, it's been powerful because now I'm able to show up as my authentic self in every area of my business, and I'm able to stand up and actually be of service to the people who need me, and I'm not hiding anymore. I'm not playing small. I've raised my prices. I've really stepped into who I am and what I am and how I serve, and it's all thanks to the dragons by being there and supporting me and being like, girl, you freaking got this. I mean, I taught an in-person class last weekend, something that I had, ever since I was little, I've had this vision of me doing this, and I was so scared. And then the dragons are like, no, this is what you were born to fucking do. So why aren't you doing it? And just having that, I don't want to say validation because I don't like having to search outwardly for validation, but having that confirmation that this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And they've been with me step by step. I mean, they help me get clients. They show me what in all of my downloads for my business, it's usually a dragon giving me the information, and it has helped me grow. It has helped me stand up. And I mean, I'm a freaking dragon, and I love calling in other freaking dragons. And I can't even explain. I honestly don't think I would have been able to do it without the help of Erin and the Dragon Fire Reiki and the dragons and all of that, because I mean, I'm still with Erin. I told her I'm not leaving her. So she's stuck with me because I need her. It's so powerful. So yeah,
That's so amazing.
it's
It's so
amazing.
good. And it's been such an honor for me to witness you and hold you through this process, because the amount of trust that it took, like, I know I was with you the whole way, and you're just like, Erin, WTF, like, I want this, and that is not happening right now. And like, yes, darling, but this stuff has to blow up. It has to, and there's a safe way to do it. There's a safe way to deconstruct the old. But like the wounds that we carry that we don't even know, like we have an idea, but we don't actually know how to change it. Like I watched you step by step change it and become, as I say, like the no matter what version of yourself, like no matter what, like, so your devotion to yourself and your family and your clients and your purpose, right? And I love that I was able to hold you through this, and that the dragon energy was, and it truly is about embodying our own dragon, right? I am a dragon, you are a dragon. The people who are drawn to Dragon Fire Reiki, like there's some part of themselves, even like, you mentioned like students are like, I've never even worked with dragons before. Like, I don't even think about it. And yet when they go and take the class or classes, because, there's 9 classes in total, right? The first 3 are very similar to other types of Reiki. So, you get attuned to Reiki, you learn the hand placements, you learn the symbols, like you go through that process. And then that's 1 through 3. And then 4 through 8, that's the 5 elements. So you're learning the entire meridian system, the main meridian system. You are learning all the 5 elements. You're working with the 5 elemental dragons. You're getting elemental dragon technology installed. Like the water dragon was the ruby red heart, which was all about clearing, right, lower emotions out of the blood. Like, how freaking cool. I'm excited about the one in the spring, the wood and air dragon, because you're going to get your wings. Everyone gets their wings in the spring. Oh, good. And it's not that you guys don't already have these things in a sense, but it's a completely different activation of this technology. So bringing all these things in, and then the 9th level is the teacher level. So it's when you get to go teach it. So it's much longer there. So it's more intensive, and it's just more than with traditional Reiki. So just having you walk with me and having this medicine come through, and, you being able to receive it so beautifully, and like now seeing where your business is, where you are personally, like, how does that feel in your body to be where you're at now and to have moved through all that? Like, what's it like?
It was not fun in any way, shape, or form, but I would do it again if I had. Let's get back on with there for a second. I'm not mad that I had to go through all that, but I'm glad that I had the support. And I'm like, looking back to even a year ago, where I was a year ago, I am not the same fucking person. Like, I am able to stand up as who I am. I am able to walk with my business. I am able to show up in my business the way I need to, even though I get so much pushback, because I'm a very, very, like, I'm a tough love coach. Like, I am not going to let you walk all over yourself. I'm not going to let you damage yourself or whatever it is. So it's given me the confidence to be the tough love coach and hold my clients so deeply and so compassionately, but also be like, you got to do your shit. So, and the dragons have helped me massively with that. And something else came through when we were talking about it. I'm a learn it all. Like, when I want to learn something, I want to learn something. And I think for me, the knowing the meridian system, I'm like, this is another amazing tool that you don't get in Reiki. Like, you don't know like which meridians talk about which fears and all the, or whatever, emotions. And having that, I'm like, this is something that is not taught anywhere else. Like, unless you go to acupuncture school, you don't know, like, you might know of them, but knowing how to work with them is so powerful. And I think that's why I was so drawn to it, because it's like, and I do it on myself. I do Reiki on myself all the time. I'm like, oh, I'm my kids too. I do Reiki on my children. I have a son who is, ADHD and very, very hyperactive and really can't control his body. So I've shown him how to run certain meridians to calm himself down, and like anger, especially. And that has been massively helpful to everything. So it's not just something that I do for my clients. Like, I use this every single day, and I'm so thankful for it.
Seriously, so good. And I use it too. Like, I'm clearing my meridians because I understand how to work with them. And I don't want to think about where I would be if I didn't learn how to work with the meridian system, because I will just ask them to run. Like, once you've developed a relationship to it, you just go, okay, this is running now. This is going out. Okay, I know what this fear is, or this emotion. So maybe I'm feeling manic. That's the heart meridian. You know that is the fire, one of the fire meridians, right? If I'm feeling angry, I know that that's the liver meridian. If I'm feeling super resentful or indecisive, that's my gallbladder meridian. Like, and I, especially during the winter months, have worked with the water meridians almost daily, which is, again, the kidney and urinary bladder, because that clears fear, isolation, overwhelmed, like the paralytic,
Deep
place that,
yin.
the deep yin, the divine feminine. And so being able to have a tool, and that was the whole point, is to have a tool that really makes a difference in this moment, so
And
that you can feel it.
Yeah, no, that's it. Like, especially because I used to get seasonal depression, and like I live in the middle of nowhere in Vermont. It's dark, it's snowy, it's cold. And I used, like, the isolation was so bad. And now having this tool for myself, I'm like, oh, we're just gonna run this. And I know that it's like, it helps. It helps massively. And I've noticed that I am not as scared of being alone by myself than I was before. Scared as in I don't want to deal with my own emotions, but now I have that space to handle my own emotions and handle everything that's coming up, because it's a very triggering time of year for me. And these amazing tools in my toolbox I don't want to ever be without them.
Well, you don't have to be.
Yeah. I know.
You don't have to be.
Yeah, they're like, no, we stay with you. I'm like, okay, cool, we're good.
It's awesome. And I think you're only missing the wood element, which is the spring, right? I think that's the only one left for you, other than going in through, some more of the teacher training aspect of things. So I'm really excited to complete that cycle. It's going to be so good. Sending all the baby dragons into the world. Amazing. Well, thank you so much. You're the best. Thank you for being here with me and bringing this through. And I just love you and adore you.
I love you. Thank you.
Have the best day. And then Miss Carrie, I will put some links in this episode so that people can come find you. Again, like Carrie, she is a dragon. She is your tough love coach. She's going to make sure that wherever you're not showing up in your life, that you gain that confidence to show up and do the thing you were born to do. Right. Like that is what she is about. And she does it with so much love. But yeah, she's going to make sure.
I'll make sure you do it.
Make sure you go where you go and you get to where you need to get to. And she's going to do it while like having just the best party.
Yes.
Like party.
So many parties. We have so many parties.
All right. Awesome. Well, take care, my dear. Thank you all so much for listening. And I will talk to you. See you guys in the next episode. Thank you again, Carrie.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye.